I'm Brigid O'Connor. We're here in the valley of Glowningalth in the Dingle Peninsula. We have 54 hectares, mountain, hill land as well as lowland. We keep sheep who graze between the mountains and the fields, but mainly on the hills. They're a hill breed, they're Scotch breed. We're organic here in this farm. In other words, it's left to nature. We don't use any pesticides, any chemicals, and we don't treat the animals with any interventions. Mostly everything that grows, whether it be poisonous to man or to animal, is good for something. In olden times there was a weaver and a dyer in every village. They weaved the clothes, then they dyed the clothes. They didn't have any dyes. They used the yellow flag, as they call it, and they used sometimes they had other plants, and wildflowers would be used for dyeing. To keep us on the land, we're going to have to diversify. We're going to have to think of new ideas. In this peninsula in particular, and in the rural parts of Ireland, the hilly lands and the uplands, we just won't survive alone in the animals. We need to diversify, and accommodation can come into it as well. Who wouldn't like a holiday in a little valley like this? It's all about, using what you have. We have a lot of holly trees here. You see, this farm was very much a place where people love trees. My ancestors, my father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, they were always setting trees. And if you look over towards the house there, there's a lime tree there. There are actually 6 of them. And they were sat by my great-grandfather. And they now are towering over the old house. We also have ash trees up along, the mountain ash. There'll be a beautiful red berry on them very soon. At one time, my father used to say that the valley was known as Glowningalth. And do you see the great sheltering, how good the trees are for shelter? My father, God rest him, was very concerned about that you keep the trees for shelter. So this is a very sheltered farm for the same reason. And this standing stone is here for 5,000 years. And there are several standing stones throughout the peninsula. They were called gullawns. There are several stones, like there's one up at the top there, and they align sometimes during the winter and summer solstice even. And I'd be recommending that now to the farmers. They don't have to be snaring or killing or shooting. They came from New Zealand. They're called foxlights, and they actually flash at night, 3 or 4 different colours, and the fox thinks it's a predator. So you don't have to take out the gun anymore if you have one of these. Hey girls! They're Scotch. They've come from Scotland originally. Lord Vintry bought the first Scotch breed here in the last century, and they're still here. They're expecting to get oats now because they got fed in the springtime, and they're lambs now with them. We sell the ram lambs in the autumn, and we keep the ewe lambs, the female lambs, for breeding. She's a ewe lamb there now. She'll be kept for having lambs, and that's how the hefted animal comes into being. They stay and they know the mountain, and they stay in the same part of the mountain. You'll get lambs and sheep up there at the very top of that mountain who stay there all year round because they've learned it from generations back. When you keep the ewes, the young ewe will learn from her mother and her grandmother, and there's very sweet meat in those animals because there's heather all over the place there, and all those little plants, especially the ones up high, they nibble them, and it makes their meat very sweet. In fact, a lot of people would say like the upland sheep are very tasty. We are here for several generations of our family, and I consider myself to be the custodian of the land, bringing it through to the next generation. and in fact generations of people into the future. What we do here in our farm in the Dingle Peninsula will have an effect on those people who live all over the world.